For today's video, I'm gonna talk about the time that Spider-Man met up with fake Magneto. Well, a homage to Magneto, I guess, anyway. But yeah, alright, let's go. Alright, so we start off on a torrent sea.
The sea was angry that day, my friends.
Dr. Magneto has a magnetic gun, and he wants to get revenge on the scientific community that, I guess, mocked him for something? I don't know the specifics, but dude's totally mad. And for his revenge plan, he decides to magnetize the lighthouse equipment during a storm so a nearby boat will crash. Not sure how that will rile up the scientific community, unless it's like the marine biology community or something, I don't know. But luckily, Spider-Man was hanging a boot, and he has a flashlight that was the equivalent of a 10,000 lumen lighthouse beam. Yay, so the boat can see what's going down and is saved. Hooray!
Meanwhile,
J. Jonah Jameson prints Spider-Man's heroics in the Daily Bugle, but because Spider-Man looks pretty good and heroic in that story, JJ prints that story to the back page. And that story placement pisses off Dr. Magneto. He's not getting the recognition that he deserves. So he'll show them. He'll show them all. And he hops down to Yankee Stadium to destroy some part of the train tracks nearby, to which, again, somehow Spider-Man shows up. Luckily, two small strands of Spider-Man's webs are strong enough to save the 35-ton train from crashing into the newly developed hole. That's a bit of a stretch to how strong those webs are, but you know, okay. But J. Jonah Jameson, in his Spider-Man fury, blames Spider-Man for the destruction of the train tracks, and that really pisses off Dr. Magneto even further. So old Magsy sends a letter to Jameson that he plans to magnetize the statue of Prometheus from Rockefeller Center, send it up to the top of the Empire State Building, and then let it crash down on all the people below, which, you know, the people could just sidestep that, or, you know, if there's a specific time at 12 o'clock when this statue will crash, they could just not show up there. But no, that's not how crowds work in comic book stories. So luckily, Spider-Man and his insanely powerful webs show up while the statue is falling through the air, picking up speed and momentum, and Spider-Man's webs turned into a powerful spring and stopped an actual 8-ton statue from crashing into the ground. I even looked it up, man. That statue weighs 8 tons, like holy jeezy. So Spider-Man was looking up famous scientists because he somewhat recognized the name of Dr. Magneto. So he did a bit of research and he found the information of the villain Dr. Magneto, and it turns out his real name is Dr. Magneto. You're telling me at no point did anybody ever piece together that Dr. Magneto is in fact Dr. Magneto. Okay. That's like hiding Luke Skywalker in Anakin Skywalker's old house and not even bothering changing his last name. So Spider-Man and Dr. Magneto have a showdown at the Science Hall of Fame. Dr. Magneto's gun can magnetize anything, which is actually really impressive, right? Like, it can magnetize metal, wood, clothes, and Spider-Man's. So Spidey's pinned down, he's down and out. But Spider-Man has developed anti-magnetic spider webbing, because of course he did, right? And this webbing, like, I don't even know how, but it destroyed Dr. Magneto's gun. So the dude's totally powerless. He couldn't have thought of building a second gun, you know, like most sharpshooters have 2 guns, but not supervillains, I guess. So Dr. Magneto is all webbed up, captured by your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And of course, instead of admitting that Spider-Man was not the problem the whole time, it was in fact Dr. Magneto, well, J. Jonah Jameson hides this story in the personal sections. So yay, I guess that's a victory for Spider-Man somehow. But with that is the end of this attractive tale. So yes indeed, Spider-Man and Dr. Magneto. I thought this was actually a pretty decent episode. Like, it's pretty classic Spider-Man, but it had some pretty kind of charming little things kind of thrown in there. Like, for example, there was that running gag of J. Jonah Jameson trying to bury a positive Spider-Man story in the paper, right? Like in the back pages and stuff like that. Always trying to find a new creative way where to put this and still grumbling like a jerk about it the whole time. It's just, man, classic JJ, man. What a guy. And Spider-Man's omnipotent webs, man. Like, my God, what can't they do? That's the one thing that's always amazed me about this show, even since I was like a little kid, man. Like, his webs, like, there's nothing they can't do. Up to and including stopping an 8-ton statue falling, in mid-air. Like, how? Because he's Spider-Man, that's how. But his webs in this episode, usually, he does silly things with them. He can make a sword out of them or a helicopter, which is wild. But man, the things in this episode, like, how powerful are his webs? Like, it's almost insane, like what he can do. And also, thank you to the writers of this episode for giving us viewers a quick little tour of New York City. We've seen Yankee Stadium, which I was kind of hoping, would get demolished in this episode. Go Blue Jays, go! We got a glimpse of at least the statue, to Rockefeller Center, so that was nice. And I'm sure there's some science place in New York, which was represented by the museum here, so that was pretty good. Sorry, Hall of Fame. But all in all, classic Spider-Man story, except for one little difference I kind of noticed. Usually, Spider-Man loses, a battle here and there, right? Especially in the beginning. The first time he'll fight against a villain, he'll usually lose. He'll get knocked out unconscious, or he'll just get tied up or something. He has to regroup and then beat the villain at the end of the episode to win the day, right? But in this episode, man, he thwarted Dr. Magneto like left, right, and center. Every single time the guy tried to do something, Spidey stopped him. So he was actually like 3 for 3 in this episode. So that's kind of rare, but kind of cool to see. And so we get to the villain of the episode, Dr. Magneto, who is an obvious stand-in for the X-Men villain, Magneto. Which, I'm going to assume that the producers of the show wanted to get Magneto, for the episode, but they couldn't acquire his rights. Or I could be completely wrong and they just wanted to create a new villain, and you know what? We'll rip off a guy that we already have. Because if you think in Marvel Comics Spider-Man meeting up with Marvel Comics Magneto, it would make sense and it would be pretty awesome. But no, we can't have that. So let's go through the obvious similarities between the two. Both Dr. Magneto and Magneto have the power of magnetism. Dr. Magneto has it with a magnetic gun, and Magneto has it with his natural mutant abilities. They both wear a cape, and they're both bad guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Dr. Magneto doesn't look like Magneto in any other way. In fact, the way he's drawn, he resembles probably, Albert Einstein a bit more. And I would dare say, at least to me anyway, he looks a lot more like Barney Miller. So when I was watching this episode, I was like, holy crap, Spider-Man's beating the crap out of Barney Miller, man. Jeez. I still think it would have been pretty awesome if the actual Magneto was in this episode and he had to go against Spider-Man, but, Spider-Man is not as powerful as Magneto, so Magneto would probably win, and that's probably why they didn't have him in there. Although, Spider-Man in the cartoon realm did eventually meet up with Magneto. That was in the 1980s cartoon, and Magneto was kind of dulled down in that one for his powers, so Spider-Man can kind of win the day and all that kind of stuff, but at least they finally met. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much all I got for you. Is that all I got? Let me check my notes. I think that's all I got for you. Yeah, so, thanks for watching, and with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess, that's that. Right on, and there you go. So, thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video, and if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so, or anything else, just to say hi, that's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.